Good morning. My name is Joseph Brooks. I am your life coach, and life coach encompasses a whole bunch of things. I do different facets of life coaching. I do life coaching to decide what you want to do out of your life, whether that's transitioning through a new career, or I do fitness coaching, which I've done for over 30 years, which is to help you get in the best shape of your life to feel good internally and externally, and I do marriage and relationship coaching. So if you're interested in solidifying the strength of your marriage and relationship, I'm your guy. Now, today I want to talk to you a little bit about life and so many things in life we face. Recently, my wife just passed on 1/11/20, and people ask me how I dealt with that. Anytime there's a traumatic event that takes place in my life, you can go one of two directions. For me, I have my faith, my faith in Jesus Christ, and He is the one that got me through this. My wife and I were married for 30 years. For the past 8 years, she had been really sick. She had got bitten on the top of her foot by an ant. Yes, an ant. Well, the ant turned out to have the same type of effect as a brown recluse spider. So after she was bitten, she was never the same. The bacteria got into her bloodstream for the next 8 years. She underwent 83 hyperbaric treatments, amputations on both feet, multiple surgeries, heart surgery, retinopathy, her eyes were failing, all of her organs. And so I became her caretaker for those 8 years. And you know, when we take the vows, not many people take them seriously, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health. And we like the health part of it and we like the richer part of it, but we don't do the poor and the sickness aspects too well. But that's what I did because I made a commitment to my wife and I love my wife. And so how does that affect your life? When you go through a transitional period like that, how is that going to affect you? Now, when my mother died, I was 18 years old, and the way it affected me, because I didn't have Christ in my life, is I went to drinking. And I drank every day. I drank myself to sleep, as a matter of fact. I consumed so much alcohol to try to drown out the sorrow and the emotions. And I grew up poor, folks, so before you say, well, you should have got counseling, couldn't afford any counseling. You just knew what you knew, and that's what I did. So that was one way of trying to cope with it because I felt that I had control over the alcohol. I felt that I had control over my life through alcohol, but the reality was I had no control at all. And so this time around, when my wife passed, I was able to call on Christ. That meant I cried, I screamed, I was angstful, I was depressed, I was angry, I was all the emotions that you face. But I still had to live. I still had to run my business. I still had to make money to survive. So how do you do that? How do you keep going? Well, I put it in perspective. First of all, for those 8 years, I saw my wife suffer tremendously. I saw her suffer tremendously. Thriving in pain, thriving in pain. As a Christian, I know when she took her last breath here on earth, she's in heaven. No more sickness, no more pain, no more sorrow, no more crying, no more screaming, no more yelling, none of that. No more poking and prodding by doctors. She's free. She's whole. She's happy. And because I loved her and because I love her, that makes my heart happy that my wife is happy. So that's how you have to put things in perspective in order for you to function, in order for you and I to function. You have to put it in perspective. They're happy, they're okay. And they would want me to be okay. So I'm going to be okay. And I'm going to keep going forward. I'm going to keep achieving goals. I'm going to make new goals. It's a new chapter in my life. I'm going to create new things for me, and I'm going to follow those things. That's what your spouse would want. especially after they've gone on. So, will you cry? Of course. They're triggers. Sometimes I walk into the grocery store. My wife loved to shop, and I walk into the grocery store and I'm just standing there looking around like, just there. I know that I need to be there, but I'm lost without her. And so I just cry in the aisle. So they're triggers. I go to a restaurant where we used to eat. They're triggers. And those triggers are going to be with you. And that's okay. Because you have to allow that to cry. You have tear ducts for a reason. Cry. It's all right. How do you move on, though? How do you take that first step after your spouse is gone? You just do it. And you may have to cry all the way, but do it anyway. Just take one step and the next step and the next step. And see how God opens the windows. After my wife died, I was fearful of being alone. I've been she and I and the kids for 30 years, so I was fearful. I didn't know if I'd ever meet anyone. And before my wife died, we had that discussion. She said, I want you to meet someone and go on with your life. And I just didn't know. I knew that a lot of time had passed me by and that a lot of women were superficial and maybe I didn't have the material things to offer them. And would I ever meet someone? But as I continue to walk forward and continue to walk forward, God opened the door and I did. I met an incredible woman, sensational woman, and I'm happy. I feel like I'm 18 again. My heart is healed. My spirit is healed. My mind is healed. And God supplied that. God gave me that. But I had to walk forward. I had to keep walking. I had to keep pressing on. And it's so easy to get into a corner and cry and cry and cry and get depressed. I almost did it, y'all. I almost did it. But I had great friends and great people to come around me. My family, they wouldn't let me get there. My son's like, you got to go work out. You got to get out of this house. You got to do something. So I did. So I would suggest to you that you pray every day. You pray for the will of God to be done in your life. That you cry, that you shout, that you scream. Heal. And it takes time, but heal. And if you don't want to be alone, ask God to send someone who will fit into your life and understand what you're going through. That they won't be afraid and run away, but they'll be there to embrace you and to compass you. May God bless you. Please like, share, follow, subscribe to my channel.